Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into one of the most dangerous ideas in finance, pulled straight from Morgan Housel's incredible book, The Psychology of Money. We're talking about that simple but oh so destructive concept of never enough.
So picture this. Authors Kurt Vonnegut and Joseph Heller are at a party thrown by a billionaire. Vonnegut points out that their host made more money in a single day than Heller's classic novel Catch-22 had earned in its entire history. And Heller's response? It was perfect. He just said, yes, but I have something he will never have. Enough. And that right there, that single exchange, just perfectly captures this huge, powerful, and often really dangerous idea we're going to unpack today.
To really see why figuring out your own definition of enough is so important, let's look at a couple of cautionary tales. We're talking about two men who had achieved unbelievable wealth and success, and then risked it all for just a little bit more.
Okay, first up, Rajat Gupta. His story is basically the American dream on steroids. He was orphaned as a teenager, and through sheer grit and intelligence, he climbed all the way to the absolute top of the business world, becoming the CEO of McKinsey. By any possible measure, this guy had made it. By 2008, his net worth was reportedly $100 million. Now, just take a second and think about that number. That's not just I'm comfortable money. That is, I can do anything I want, go anywhere I want, for the rest of my life and never have to worry about money again kind of wealth.
But here's the thing. For him, it wasn't enough. He was desperate to be a billionaire. And that desire, that hunger for more, led him to use his position on the board of Goldman Sachs to pass illegal insider tips to a hedge fund. He risked everything he had and needed for money he didn't have and absolutely did not need. And the result? He ended up in prison.
And this wasn't some isolated, crazy case. Let's talk about Bernie Madoff. Now, before he became infamous, Madoff ran a completely legitimate, wildly successful business. He was seen as a Wall Street genius, and his firm was pulling in up to $50 million a year. He already had it all.
But there it is again. It wasn't enough. He threw away a legitimate fortune, his reputation, his freedom, all to run the largest Ponzi scheme in history. And he didn't just ruin his own life. He completely destroyed the lives of thousands of people, all because he had no internal switch for enough.
Warren Buffett, as he so often does, just diagnosed this perfectly. He said, to make money they didn't have and didn't need. They risked what they did have and did need. And that's foolish. It's so simple and so profoundly true.
Let's really break down that trade-off because it's so important. On one side of the scale, you have the things that are truly priceless: your reputation, your freedom, your family, your happiness. And on the other side, things like a little more money or getting to the next rung on some imaginary social ladder. There's just no universe where that trade makes sense. Risking what is irreplaceable for something that is, frankly, unimportant. It's just foolish. So this all leads to the big question, right? Why? Why on earth do these incredibly smart, successful people fall into this trap? Well, the book points to a couple of really powerful psychological forces that are kind of hardwired into all of us.
The first reason is that the goalpost just never stops moving. You get a raise, and suddenly the house you have isn't big enough. You get a promotion, and now you need a nicer car. It's this dangerous cycle where your ambition and your desires are always outpacing your current reality. You end up feeling like you're falling behind, even as you're getting ahead, and that pushes you to take bigger and bigger risks just to catch a finish line that's always moving away from you.
And the second driver, this one is just poison, is social comparison. And it's a game that is literally impossible to win. Think about it. A rookie baseball player making $500,000 a year feels poor next to his superstar teammate making $36 million. But guess what? That superstar looks at a top hedge fund manager making $340 million and feels like he's not doing so well. And that manager, he's comparing himself to a billionaire whose wealth can grow by billions in a single year. You see, the ceiling is so impossibly high that no one can ever touch it. It's a battle you just can't win.
So what do? The conclusion is actually pretty simple. You have to opt out. A Las Vegas dealer once said the only way to win in a casino is to walk out the door as soon as you walk in.
And it's the exact same logic with social comparison. The only way you can possibly win is to refuse to play the game in the first place.
All right, so if the problem is a moving goalpost, and this game we can't win, what's the solution? What's the prescription? Well, the book offers a really clear path for how to build your own sense of enough and how to finally find your own finish line.
Here are the core principles for building a saner relationship with money. First, the absolute hardest financial skill to learn is getting your own goalpost to stop moving. Second, you have to recognize social comparison for what it is, an unwinnable game, and just don't play. Third, and this is crucial, enough doesn't mean too little. Enough means you're smart enough to realize that an endless appetite for more is a direct path to regret. And finally, it all boils down to this. Know what things in your life are never, ever worth risking.
It really is that simple. It doesn't matter what the potential reward is. It doesn't matter how much money someone dangles in front of you. There are just some things in life that are way too precious to ever be put on the table as part of a bet.
So what are those things? Well, they're the things that truly matter. Your reputation, your freedom and your independence, your family and your friends, your happiness, and being loved by the people you want to love you. These are the real currencies of a rich life. They are priceless, and they should never, ever be part of the gamble.
So, we'll leave you with that question to think about. Because the most important takeaway from this whole idea isn't some hot stock tip or a new saving strategy. It's the challenge to define that finish line for yourself. Because the peace of mind that comes from knowing, truly knowing in your bones, that you have enough, well, that's the greatest financial return you can ever get. That's what really matters.